That I'm kind of behind the scenes in terms of everything that goes on within the program, from scheduling, the charter flights, the meals, the buses, coordinating everything we need to do throughout the week to make sure that we get to our destination. I love football, and obviously that's why I got into it once I got done playing. And after being a graduate assistant for the past 2 years and working on the field, it's a little different taking a transition away from it, but I'm still involved enough that I get my fix of football, and I like kind of the operating and what makes things tick in the program, and what we need to do to make sure that we can be as successful as possible.
I think it really helps them, especially as young coaches, learn how to do all the budgets, learn how to set up flights, and all that really pays off for them later on in recruiting and setting up their own flights and really understanding just about budgets and understanding how to handle budgets.
I think you need to be somebody who's highly organized and somebody who can make adjustments on the fly, which really is where coaching kind of comes in there, that you have this plan all week that this is what you're going to run, and this is how we're going to prepare for it, and then they come out in something totally different, and then you can't just keep running the same stuff, you have to adjust. And so it's kind of the same thing here, that you have this plan in your head of everything's going to go perfectly, this is how it should be, and then something goes off here. So when we go off script, how are we going to get everything back in order, kind of where we need to be, or if this is the path that it's going to kind of lead us down, like how are we going to adapt to that?
This scholarship is presented to honor the late Mark Vaught, our former Assistant Athletic Director of Football Operations, who passed away from cancer in November of 2014 at the age of 31. This scholarship is given to an individual who exemplifies the characteristics Mark had: hardworking, courageous, a true professional, and someone who makes those around him better.
I don't even know in words if I can say everything that Mark did for the program and for me. He really helped me grow and just how to be a better person. Mark was just such a great person and cared about everybody, and I don't know if I ever met a person that didn't love Mark and didn't think the world of him, and he was so tough. He was going through everything he was going through with cancer and never said a word about it. Always worked his tail off, always did everything that he had to do for this program, and so as long as I'm around, I hope to always keep his name alive. And then it was so great that we got that money, so that scholarship will always be in his name. So, and then now that position is named under him is just a really special, great thing.
Thursday on away trips, I go a day ahead of the team, so I'll fly out on Thursday morning out of usually Lewiston or Pullman. I'll do my hotel meeting there, which is meet with usually the director of sales and their catering manager, making sure that we go over what's a BEO, which is our banquet event order, which kind of talks, it's like the Bible of the trip in terms of exactly what food's being served at what time, how the rooms are set up, double checking that the FBO, which is flight-based operator, that they know we're coming in since it's a charter flight, that we don't just pull up to a regular terminal at an airport. It's usually off the side on in a hangar, and making sure they're expecting you, and then heading over to the stadium and looking at their facilities from the locker room and where we'll serve the post-game meal, where athletic trainers will tape, kind of where the team's going to walk out of, and kind of all the little things that you might not think about that are important to the operations of the game come Saturday for the staff and the players. Really, my job is anything I can keep off the head coach and assistant coach's plates is what I try to do, whether it's study hall lists or tracking somebody down for this, or something that's required throughout the school, as well as during recruiting, planning the recruiting weekends, as well as scheduling recruiting flights and help coordinating the coaches' travel when they're out on the road.
He does a great job of checking every last thing. Like our first 2 trips this year, we saved $7,000 on our first trip. We saved $4,800 on our second trip. So he really looks into everything until the last penny and detail, and I think that's one of the biggest things, for a football operations guy, is for us especially, is going on all the trips, setting up all the trips and how we can save money the best. And then secondly is with me on our quarterback club is raising money.
You know, electronics that a computer goes down, or office supplies to meals for the team, that all goes across my desk to make sure that I know where our budget's at, and any ways that we can stay under budget. It helps the university and also helps our program, so it's being fiscally conscious while also making sure that we have all the essentials and are doing everything we can to take care of, you know, the team and our coaching staff.
First thing that's most important to me is time, you know, and everything being organized and everything rolling that way. That if we say we're going to eat breakfast at 8:30, it's ready at 8:30. No, really ready at 8:10.
The best way that determines if I'm successful or not is making sure that I'm looking out for the best interests of our players and coaching staff and our football program. So, you know, making sure that we've stayed in as nice a place, as fed them as much and as well as we can, and that our guys are all taken care of while staying under budget.
Budget, I think, is the first thing. I think that's the very first thing. How did we do on our budget? How did we do on our budget on travel? How did we do? They always help me along with the recruiting coordinator on our recruiting budget. And since I've been here, we've always been under our budget on those two things. So that's something that I think that's number one and most important thing is they're like my wife in our household, ahead of the budget. You know what I mean? So they're really responsible for that. And then the second thing I judge them on is how much money we raised in the quarterback club, because they really helped me on that. And I think that's the two most important things. And then just day in, day out organization.
You know, they say kind of win your battle and do your job each week. And, you know, my job is to, whatever helps guys, you know, they all like the meal and they're comfortable on the plane and the hotel's good to go, then I did my job, that everything went smoothly and it's one less distraction and things that guys got to worry about come game day. Something's always going to go wrong, it's just a matter of what it's going to be. So you hope it's something that's minor, and so it's always really each week planning, you know, kind of having plan A, B, and C, and hoping you don't ever need plans B and C, but knowing that it's a realistic possibility that when you have that many 18 to 22-year-old kids, like somebody's going to forget something, somebody's going to forget a driver's license, you know, maybe a piece of equipment. It's just kind of planning for the worst case scenario and trying to just, you know, mitigate the damage when it comes to it.